Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Agritech Founders Diary. Here we have conversations with successful entrepreneurs who are doing amazing stuffs in the agritech ecosystems. And today we are having another amazing entrepreneur joining us today from Abuja, Nigeria. All right, guys. But before we move on, that's really come to our notice that over 70 to 80% of people watching our shows does not really subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then that was not, it's not really good, guys. So please, guys, we need to hit the subscription button, subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can go and do big things. We have plans to do bigger things, but we need you guys to subscribe so we can do bigger things for you guys too. Don't also forget to hit the notification buttons, so whenever we drop any notifications, or whenever we go on live like this, you get notified and you can join us. And don't also forget to drop a comment and like our videos. Thank you very much for always tuning in. Today is not going to be different. We have another amazing entrepreneurs. Mrs. Linda from Abuja. Welcome once again for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here actually.
I've followed your work for some time. I've been following your work for some years now, like 2 years, yeah, if I'm not
Oh, really?
mistaken. Yes. And I've been seeing some of the incredible work you've been doing, and I'm super excited to have you share a story with us this evening. It's like 2 years now. It's up to like 2 years now. Almost like the very year you started, or a year after you started, I started following your
I
work.
think so. If you've been following me for 2 years, that means
Yeah.
it's, let's say, a few months after I started or something.
Yes. Almost like when you just started, I've been following the work that you've been doing, and yeah, and it's been an amazing journey. Seeing how you've gone so far. So, but before we go, my first question to you this evening is going to be: tell us about yourself. What inspired you? Where did you go up for, first of all? What was the environment you grew up for? Tell us everything about yourself, first of all. Let's get to know you.
Okay, I'm a very, very simple person. It's not like I have anything complicated about me. So, Linda Ekwogu,
Great.
Nigerian. I am Nigerian, but I was actually born in Germany.
Oh, great.
I grew up, yes, I grew up in Germany for like 7 years. I was 7 when we got back to Nigeria, and then I started schooling here, primary school, secondary school, university, all done in my state, Imo State. I did my university in Imo State University. So I basically grew up in Imo State. But at some point in my life, I left Imo State. That was before I got admission into school. I was in Lagos for 2 years. Then I got back and then started my university. So I'm mostly an Igbo girl. If you're Nigerian, you know I'm an Igbo girl. So that's basically it about me. That's just me. That's just
Great.
me.
Great. So, in case you are joining us once again, Linda is the co-founder of Agrilink. And Agrilink is a mobile app that connects farmers and food processors to consumers without the middleman. And they try to make sure their prices are very fair. So, in case you are joining us, that's only that is. And Linda has been able to build this mobile app. Today, they have about 2,000 subscribers for an agritech um, mobile app. It's not easy, I must confess. To have 2,000 subscribers or 2,000 people downloaded your app and are using your app is not easy. But I want to ask you how the environment you grew up from, does it have a way contributed to your entire journey so far? And if yes, how did it contribute to your journey so far?
Okay, as I said earlier, I grew up in Imo State. I actually studied statistics. I have a first class in statistics. At the
Awesome.
moment, I'm studying for my master's in data science. So when people look at my course and then they look at my career, like the business that I'm doing, it's some people think it's conflicting and all of that, but no, my environment contributed a lot to what I am doing today.
Okay.
To start with, I'm someone that likes providing a solution. Most times when I go to bed at night, I keep thinking, what is it? What's that need around me that I need to solve? What's that problem that I can come in that doesn't need so much funding or something that I could actually even start? Do you understand? So
Yeah.
growing up, I used to go to the village to see my grandmom and all of that. And I remember then they used to have barns. Barn is where you stock up yams and all. I don't know if you know what a barn is.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Where
know
you
what the
stock up
plan
the
is.
yam. Okay, yeah. So then when I go to the village, I see a lot of those women, they would have farmed, toiled day and night and all of that. And then you go into their barns, they have a lot of yam. But some of them get rotten in those barns. One, they can't eat everything. Two, they take it to the market, and most times they come back with what they went to the market. They sell a little and then they come back. At the end of the day, this yam gets rotten. So, you know how Nigeria is. I graduated 2014. During my service year, I was already thinking, what can I do? What is this need? What is this problem that growing up I had seen a lot? You walk into markets, you see people litter fresh tomatoes. You see a lot of things spoiled. So one day it hit me during my service year, and I was like, okay, I've thought about this. I've seen, you can walk into such places, and for someone that does not want to provide a solution, it might not hit you. But when I walk into markets, when I walk into farms and I see things perishing, it keeps bothering me. So say I cannot just leave this thing at the point of it bothers me. At the point of if I see people, I say, did you see that farmer? You see how much she lost and all of that. Maybe I have to come in. I need to step in and do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I started our first company. I had my co-founder Ekene. We graduated together from school. So we discussed the idea together, and she was like, okay, maybe we need to start something. We can't just fold our arms. So we
Yeah.
started our first company, Longan Agro Limited.
Okay.
Longan Agro. What we are doing at Longan Agro then is we go into farms in Imo State in Nigeria. We started with cassava farms then. We meet the farmers, we tell them, we ask them how many hectares do you have, what quantity are you producing and all of that. We take stock of what they are producing. Then we go to companies that produce gari, companies that produce starch and all of that need this cassava. We tell them we have some women who've aggregated in a certain village that can actually supply this cassava to them. Do you understand? So we
Mm-hmm.
are we are helping, we are connecting these farmers to off takers. That was how we started. We go to these villages, we arrange with them. At a point, it even got to a point where we had to bring in people to help them, like teach them the right way to farm, to make sure they meet a certain standard, so that when we go to these companies will not reject what they bring. This started taking us from one community to another, from one part of Nigeria to another. We started aggregating maize farmers, rice farmers, and all of that. But as young people, technology started, the buzz about technology started hitting us so hard. We're like, okay, we travel from Imo State, we go to Abia State, we go to Anambra State, we go to, for how long are we going to do this? You look at logistics, you look at expense, you look at all we were putting in. We started thinking, when you start a business at first, it's actually good to start. When you start, at some point, you can pivot. You move from one
Yeah.
stage to another. So when we saw the bulk of the work we are doing, saw the traveling, saw the logistics, saw the expenses, we started thinking digital. How do we cut all these expenses? How do we bring it to the barest minimum? How do we serve more people? Because you cannot go around the whole of Nigeria. If you're going to expand to other parts of Africa, you can't keep traveling from Nigeria to Ghana to this to that.
True.
Technology has a way to bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
So during the course of the business, we started thinking expansion, we started thinking coverage, more reach, and all of that. And that was how Agrolinka came about.
Awesome.
The idea, yes, the idea came up when we decided, okay, we cannot continue the groundwork and all of that. We need to find a way to start connecting these people digitally. Put up a website, put up an app where people can come and sell, where you can help people sell their products. Even that woman in the village or in one corner in a rural area that does not even have access, they could reach out to us. We help them put these things on our platform and sell it off to them. So this is just a little rundown on how where we started from and how we got
Really
to the
awesome.
idea Agrolinka.
Great, great. That's a fantastic journey. So, how long did it take you to pivot from what you were doing to beginning technology? How long did it take you?
Okay, I'll say it took us about a year. Let me not break it down to 6 months because building
Okay,
the websites, contacting developers, writing what the project should look like, and all of that. It took a couple of months. Then we didn't have an in-house developer
okay, great.
when we had our first MVP. The website you are seeing today is not the first website that AgroLinka had. Our first MVP, as at then, we had no in-house developer, so we had to go online on Fiverr and all of that, find developers. In fact, the first set of developers we worked with were Indians. So we had this even
Oh,
language
okay.
barrier. You say something else, they're doing something else, and all of that. So the back and forth took us a lot of months. But luckily, at some point, they delivered. So let's say after a year, we came out with our first MVP.
Mm, okay, great. Now, I want to ask. You've talked about communication barriers in terms of first of all, you talked about getting uh, app developer communication barriers in because you're working with Indians. Um, I want to ask first of all, let me ask this one before I ask this other question. I want to ask: how are you able to fund the business?
Okay, so far, so good. We've been bootstrapping. It's
Okay,
family, friends,
okay,
and then the proceeds that we get out of the business, we put it back into the business.
mm, oh, awesome, great. And after with 1 to 100 percent, 1 to 100, how far would
Okay.
you rate your bootstrapping strategy so far? How has
So
it been?
far, I'll
Yes.
put it at 60. Let me not
60. Oh,
let me not
fantastic.
exaggerate. Let me put it at 60.
Great, great, great. That was good. Okay, now we've talked about funding, you've talked about app developing, and then you've talked about language barriers. So I want to ask, so that means you've measured some challenges you've encountered while growing up. Because I asked for finance before, as I want to ask, what are some of the challenges you've encountered? But I wanted to ask you finance because a lot of people come and like, oh, getting money was a barrier, getting money was a challenge. So I tell me some of the challenges you've mentioned. So beside app developer, app getting an app developer, the challenge barrier you have, raising funding, or bootstrapping your way through funding. What other challenges do you have?
Okay, let me put it out here. Building a business is not an easy feat. And then business on paper is not business in real life.
Great.
Do you
Yeah.
understand? So
Yes.
when you have an idea, you do a little survey here and there, you ask questions, would you want to use this product? Would you want to do this? And maybe some people give you wonderful feedback, 100% positive. I want to state it here that paper and the first little survey you do is not the same thing as when you land on ground and you're ready. There are people that open
Great.
up their wait list and all of that. Before you know it, 1,000 people have signed up waiting for the
Mhm.
product. By the time the product drops, 3% of that your wait list, you will be begging them to come back and say, I thought you said you need this thing. What is going on and all of that? So let me give you a little story.
Yeah.
When we started Agrolinka, the what you are seeing now is an e-commerce site and we are
Yeah.
serving households. That is the current AgroLinker that you are seeing. The
Mm-hmm.
AgroLinker we started first was to serve farmers directly. Like we wanted the farmers in the rural areas on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to cut off the middlemen and all of that.
Yes.
So when we built um, this platform, we got a partnership then with TechnoServe Nigeria. We
Mm-hmm.
traveled to about 6, 7 states in the north because that's where you find cereal farmers. The bulk of them are in the north. We took our product to them. We taught them. We had workshops and all of that, training these farmers and telling them we have a product that will fit what you're doing. We are going to help you make more income, increase your income by 30, 40%, and reduce post harvest loss and all of that. Let me give you one shocker. You know,
Yeah.
this thing they say culture shock.
Yes.
We
Shock
had it
us.
on, yes, we had that on our journey.
Okay.
We got to a couple of the states. When we are done, when we finish presenting, we do all our, PowerPoint presentation. You teach them, you are happy that you've done very well with your presentation. And then somebody stands up in the audience and asks you, so if you cut off the middlemen, how do you expect them to survive? They say in
Mm-hmm.
their no, for religion, they cannot do something that will remove food from some other person's table, that they need these middlemen. They told us to our faces, if you are bringing a product or a platform that will kick the middlemen out,
Mm-hmm.
how do you expect them to survive? Okay, we tried to work our way around it. We said, okay, these middlemen, we can bring them on board as agents on our website. They could be the ones onboarding the farmers and then getting a little percentage and all of that. Okay, some of them were like, okay, some others were complaining you will have to train them. Some of them are not tech savvy, and it was a lot. Even to convince them that okay, no problem, we are going to bring them on as agents. They don't even want it. You want to take the food off their table? How do you? When we get back to our hotel rooms, then after each after each workshop, we'll just sit down and we'll look at ourselves. Are we doing this for the right audience, or are we too early to the market? There is something like being too early.
Mm-hmm.
At in the coming years, it could be in 5, 10, 15 years, when you take this same product back to those same areas, they could jump on it. But maybe we were too early. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Advancement, development, and all of that comes with time. So at a point, they will realize that they need this kind of things. But at that point that we were there, that was our greatest challenge. The greatest challenge was convincing them that they need a platform to even sell their products by cutting off the middleman and selling directly to their customers. That was a challenge that we never saw coming.
Hmm. Fantastic. That must be a really game shocker.
Yes, it was.
But you see, there's something you've mentioned some three key things you've said that caught my attention. First was that what is on paper cannot really be reality. Because sometimes I kind of tell her that to who write business plan. People write business plan, and sometimes when you start journeying into reality, like taking these baby steps into the business world, you realize that what's on paper, what you plan, what's in your business plan, it's really different from the reality on ground.
Of
Uh,
course.
and the game shocker you talked about also caught my attention because I think a lot of people, one of the biggest challenge in that, apart from funding, could be getting this agritech idea, getting to the farmers, because the whole idea is to try to help the farmers, but getting the farmers to
Of
accept
course.
it at sometimes
Accept
could be
it.
very difficult. Could be very
Very, very
difficult.
difficult.
And I think when founders, agritech founders or agritech startups listening to us, they who wants to go into agritech business or agritech startups generally, I think part of what they should be thinking is, how do I pass this message to the farmers? I know it's a very challenging one, and I don't think it's not just peculiar to Nigeria alone. It's peculiar generally to the global world. You know, Passing the message to the farmers, getting them to understand this technology, getting them to accept it. At some
Of
points, could be
course.
very difficult. But I want to ask. You mentioned you have a partner with a second company. I think you call it Techno.
Okay, we
Yeah,
had more like a collaboration then with TechnoServe. TechnoServe, they do agricultural extension programs for farmers
yeah.
in some selected states in Nigeria. So then, when we knew our target was the farmers. So we looked
Yeah.
out for an organization that is already working with farmers.
Great.
We reached out to them and told them, okay, we want to onboard your farmers. We want to tell them about our platform and all of that. They invited us over. We went on a tour with them to about five, 6 states then, introducing our app and teaching their farmers about the platform.
Mm. And was it easy? Selling the message to Techno server, was it easy? How was it?
No, getting the attention of TechnoServe was just one click. They were very. It's
Okay.
actually a non-governmental organization, so they're always open to whatever will bring growth to their farmers. Anything that will add to what they are doing for the rural farmers, they are always very open to such. Sometimes when we look at such organizations, maybe from afar, you're looking at them and you're like, "Oh, this organization is big. I'm not sure they're going to respond to me and all of that." I always tell people, try first. Why not send that email? Why not make that call?
Yeah.
You'll be amazed at what you could. In fact, the kind of treatments we had from TechnoServe then, we were not even expecting it. They
Okay.
worked very well with us. They gave us all the support we needed on that trip. It
Great.
started
Great.
with an email and a phone call. That was it.
Great. I think I like the idea of taking the first steps. Reaching
Yeah.
out to people to collaborate. People they are so scared of collaborating. Just like when you mentioned, technical, like, oh, how did you feel like reaching out to them? At some point, people are really scared of reaching out to people. Well, let me not ask you other questions. So far, has been the journey? So far, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, now that you've been building this, you've been on the journey of this Agrolinka has been the journey so far for you. What have been
Okay.
some of the lessons you've learned so far?
Yeah, the journey has been challenging. The journey has been great. We've learned, we have unlearned, we have tweaked our business model, we have done a lot of things on this journey, but we are very happy. In fact, I'm satisfied that I am doing this. There are things you are doing and maybe you are having hitches here and there, and then at the point you decide, oh, I'm giving up and all of that. But Agrolinka is not something I'm doing and I want to give up at some point. I'm happy I'm doing it because I'm learning quite a lot. Apart from what I'm learning for my business, generally as a person, I'm learning a lot in the business world. I've taken a number of courses, I've taken a lot of workshops, trainings, and all of that. That has built me as a person, aside the business that I'm running. So, Agrolinka
Mhm.
has done a lot for me. It has given me visibility. I am on this call with you today. If it wasn't Agrolinka, I wouldn't be here. I would
True,
probably be
true,
sleeping.
true.
It's giving me the opportunity to even teach people. There are people that watch this video and they will also understand that, oh, is this how business is? Or what I'm writing on paper, maybe I have to test it and all of that. Is giving me opportunity
Yeah,
to teach
true,
too.
true.
That is why when people call me for this kind of programs, I jump on it because I know a lot of people are struggling. In Nigeria, we don't have schools where you go to learn business.
Okay.
Most of us are in business. We are taking courses online. We are going, attending workshops, seminars, and all of that, doing learning as we are in the business. Do you understand?
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
yes, Agrolinka has taught me a lot as a person. I have learned a lot. I've also refined Agrolinka. We keep tweaking it as much as we can. We keep advancing. We keep picking up technology. The world is evolving with the speed of the light. And if you are not moving with it, you are going to crash land at some point. So as we go, as we are growing, as we are scaling, we are picking up whatever technology that we need at the right time, whatever we can afford at a certain stage, we pick it up at
Hmm.
that moment. So it's been awesome, I would say. It's been good.
Great, great. Um, it's awesome to hear your story so far. But let me ask, what's been your most proudest moment?
Okay, my proudest
Yeah, on the
moments
journey, on this journey of
on this
Ireland.
journey.
Yes, what's been your proudest moment?
Okay, let me say my first proudest moment was the first time somebody came on our platform and completed a transaction. I was driving that day, and
Okay.
then I
Yeah.
was driving, and then I got the alert. Somebody just purchased on Agrolinka. I had to, you need to see the screeching heart. Like, really?
Yeah.
Did
I
this
can
happen?
imagine that. Yes.
Something you would have put in so much time, energy working on, and when you have that face sale, you know, okay, that means there is actually somebody that even needs this.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
you validate that business and say, okay, if
True.
one
True.
person is going to use this, the second person will come, the third person is
Yes.
going to come, the fourth person, the
Yes.
1,000th person, the 10,000th person is going to come. So my proudest moment was the day I got that email. I was on my steering. I just had to park. I had to celebrate it like I built a platform that somebody that somebody has used, and no, no, you can't you can't even imagine
But
how proud I was.
but do you take any steps? Okay, let me give an example of myself. When I do some of stuff around general entrepreneurship, and I get female like that, I understand that feeling, that joy, that oh shit. But I kind of take a step to find out who could this person be. Did you ever
Eh,
take,
Of
like,
course,
who is this
I did.
person? Who
I
was the first
traced
person
it
to use the app? Yes. Who was
up
he?
till today. Up till
Yeah,
today, I trace every transaction. I
great.
trace every follow on my Instagram. Okay, where is it going? Where is it coming from? Are
Mm-hmm.
we running any ads? Did then
Yes.
somebody mention us somewhere? We
Yeah.
try to get feedback.
Yes.
Once sales come like that, we don't leave it loose. We don't leave it
Yeah.
open. We reach out to you. Of course, when you make that, when you complete it, we'll have your email, we have your phone number. So
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to you and asking, oh, congratulations, thank you for making this. We are happy to serve you. This, where did you find us?
Mm. Okay.
When you know where people find you, you put more energy, even though you are advertising on every platform. Most times, the the platform that gives you more leads, you can prioritize and say, okay, I'm getting more leads from Facebook. Maybe I have to
Mm-hmm.
allocate more funds on advertising on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
see.
understand? So
Yeah.
we follow every lead, so we know where it comes from.
Okay. Good. Good. And I think guys listening to us should take that it's very crucial you follow every lead to know where it's coming from, so you know where to channel your energy. But I asked to know, who was the first person to use your platform? Was it
You
family member, friends, or
No, it was
was
somebody out of the blues living here in Abuja.
oh
I know
great,
I remember she stays in Life Camp in Abuja. Yes, I just called her. Where did you
great,
see the platform? And before we had that
great.
sale, before we had that transaction,
Yeah.
we usually have people come on the site. We can see the cats, abandoned cats, and all of that
Yes.
from the back end. So we usually have people try to purchase, and at some point they abandon the cats. Some of them will come to our WhatsApp, some of them will come to our DM, and all of that. At
Mm-hmm.
some point you'll be wondering, is there a problem with the website? Why are these people abandoning cats and all of that? So when that sale went through, I called because this person had no communication with us on any other channel. They didn't write us on WhatsApp, didn't write us on Instagram. The person just went straight to the website, made that payment, and
Mm.
that was it. So I had to call and say, you did not doubt us. You know how online transactions are in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Yes.
What
Good.
gave you why did you trust us to just go on the website to buy from our platform? And then she said, okay, she's been following our Instagram for some time and all of that. So it's not like she's new. She has followed us for I think a month and 2 weeks as at then. And then I,
Mm-hmm.
I had to ask her what was the experience like. Did you have problems shopping? Was it seamless and all of got the feedback immediately.
Great. That's great. I hope you if you ever meet her, please give her a hug for
Of
validating the
course, of
business.
course. Yes. In fact, we had to
Validate.
put a gift in her package.
Great. Because
Yes.
validating your business at some point is not really easy. You know, it's really not easy, so to say. But let me ask you, what's the next big thing? What do you hope to see in the next? I mean, what's the next picture in view? You've run these things for some years now. You've been able to get over 2,000 users on the platform. Now, what's next for you guys?
Okay, for us in the coming years,
Yeah.
we hope to become more like a market leader,
Mm-hmm.
a household name. Like whenever anybody thinks shopping food online, food stuff online, we want our name to ring a bell. Like, I want to shop food stuff. Oh, Agrolinka, we want
Yeah.
to become a market leader in our sector, a household name, a go-to brand that
Mm-hmm.
people can relate with, people are very comfortable with, and we should have built our brand in such a way that even a little child in a little home should know what Agrolinka is. We're also looking at geographic expansion. We are currently in Abuja. We're looking at expanding into other states and hopefully into some other African countries. Then diversification of our products. Most
Okay.
times you start off you have a product offering. We are looking at with time we should be able to diversify, do some other things with the platform. It could be a community in the platform. It could
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
farmer education, it could be consulting, it could be we could incorporate anything into AgroLinker in the coming years. We are looking at what else? Standardization.
Mm-hmm.
Most times why people are a bit skeptical about shopping food online is how sure am I that what I'm buying is
Yeah.
okay, is certified and all of that. So we are looking at getting to the point where every product on our website is
Yeah.
certified from
Yeah.
a particular organization is certifying all our products. At the moment, anyway, all the packaged processed foods are all NAFDAC approved. If it's not NAFDAC approved, you can't be on our platform. So
Okay.
we are still looking at extending that into the fresh products that you can trace it. This is where it's coming from, and there is a certain standard that this food has gotten to before it came on the platform. So we are looking at a lot of things and hoping that then technology we hope to keep advancing. You can see what AI is doing today. So
Mm.
we hope that at some point we can incorporate some technological stuff that can make shopping as easy as possible. Like if you're coming on the site, if you were spending 5 minutes to 10 minutes before, we should be able to use technology to cut it down to a minute or a few seconds and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of things we are looking at, having a platform that will get to that level. We're also looking at bringing in cold systems like cold warehousing, you know, in as much as we are trying to make sure we get this fresh produce from the farmers and deliver immediately to consumers, households, and all of that, thereby
Mm-hmm.
reducing post-harvest loss and all of that. We are still looking at a point where we get to a point where we have cold chain systems or cold warehouses across different rural areas in the country where all these things could be stored for some time and then moved into the urban areas as against people having their fresh produce perishing just because of time and logistics.
Great. Great. I think there's so much in view for you guys. There's so much in view for you guys, and that's fantastic to hear. Seeing all you guys are doing and seeing what you hope to achieve in the coming years. Fantastic to hear. Great. But let me ask, um, just because of curiosity, I just want to ask you. You've been able to pivoted from your first business idea to trying to work with farmers, cutting the middleman from the farmers, to now having an e-commerce platform. Now, between the farmers and pivoting to the e-commerce platform, were there any challenges?
Okay, pivoting to this, no, we didn't really have challenges because
Okay.
we already had our first MVP then, and
Mhm.
within this the few years of moving around onboarding farmers and all of that, we got someone else on board, a
Okay.
developer.
Okay.
So he joined our team and things became a lot easier,
Okay.
We didn't have to go in search of people online to build our website anymore. We are building it in house. We have our meetings in house. If we want to change a feature, we change it in house as against having to call a developer in some other country and negotiating back and forth. And they will just, once you say, I want to change this button to green or change this button from yellow to blue, the next thing you are seeing is an invoice of how much it will cost to change that. But it became a but it became a lot easier when we now had our in-house developer, who
Okay.
was willing to join the team. So transiting was a lot more easier than our first MVP.
Um, Fantastic. But let me ask, how you been so far so good? How are you able to source for developer even before getting your in-house and getting your in-house developer? How are you able to navigate getting a developer?
We
I mean,
went on.
outside and inside. How are you able to get them?
Okay, before now
Yeah.
we had to go on Fiverr, Upwork,
Okay.
to
Okay.
put out, yes, and people had to bid, and we gave out the contract to the best person. That
Okay.
was, so we didn't even know them. We met them online and
Mm.
all of that. So it was a bit difficult. But after some time running Agrolinka, and then James, the developer, is actually an old time schoolmate.
Okay.
Yes, he also saw what we're doing. He was also building his career and portfolio on app development and all of that. So he decided to join us
Okay.
to work on Agrolinka. Yes. So
Ah, okay.
it was a seamless transition.
Ah, I see. It sounds more like friends being around, kind of coming together to build the business. We did do it.
Yes. That's it. That's the best way to explain it. Friends, schoolmates building a product.
Fantastic. So far, so far, so good. What would you say have been your most tough time in the whole journey so far? And how did you surmount that tough times?
Okay. For me, the toughest thing with running a business is funding. No matter
Okay.
how we try to run from it, no
Yeah.
matter how much we bootstrap, no
Yeah.
matter how much family and friends are there for you, funding is very difficult, especially when you're starting off. When you have to go and say, "Oh, I have this idea. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this, but I need so amount of money. Can you funding?" And when you are going into a market, there should be room for experimenting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I
Do you
agree.
understand? There should be
Yeah.
room for experimenting. But when you have funds that you are just managing, you won't have that liberty. Oh, Nigeria just happened.
Ah, sorry, guys.
No
Um.
problem. The
Okay.
generator will be on soon. Somebody will turn
Okay.
it on for me. God, I'll
Okay.
continue.
Sorry, guys.
But you can still
Okay.
hear me, right? And
Yes, we
see me
can.
a
We
little
can
at
hear you and
least.
see you. And see you.
Okay, so funding is very, very tough. Okay, I was talking about experimenting and all of that. There are times you would want to experiment. There are times you want to put in funds somewhere and say, let me just try this. Let me just check this. But when your hands are tied and your
Mm-hmm.
funding is little, there
Yeah.
is so much you might not be able to do. Just be struggling and maybe managing and navigating your way as much as you can. So the toughest thing for me, even though I've been bootstrapping so far, is funding.
But are you considering getting equity, angel investors, grant? Are you looking at those options at all in your business? Moving on.
Yes, this year we met, one of our goals is to raise funding. We feel we have bootstrapped for some time, we have validated the business, we have grown to an extent. So we think um it's time to go out there and source for the funding.
Great.
Most times when you start, there is always this fear of should I or should I not? Should I pursue funding immediately or should I just manage my way? And sometimes it's loans that are available and you're wondering, I'm just starting. What if all this crashes? What will I do? How do I pay back? But so far so good. We've grown, we've gotten to a certain level. To scale now, we need funding and we need to go out for it.
All right, fantastic. Great. But so far, let me ask you. I think your entire journey is a very peculiar one. I've really not done some. I've done bootstrapping, but I've not done so much on bootstrapping. Like you have done for 2 years. I want to ask: having bootstrap, having raised funds aside of loan and grants and angel investors, um, how did you feel? Did you regret bootstrapping? Like, I've wasted so much time. Did you feel? Is there any feeling of regretting
No, I'm
you
not regretting bootstrapping.
bootstrapping?
You know
Good.
why?
Wait. So why?
It gave me
Oh,
the liberty to think. It gave
mm-hmm.
me the liberty to tweak my business as much as
I,
I
I, I,
can. It
yes.
gave me the liberty to experiment at some points. There are times I just shut down. I'm like, I need to think. I need to re-strategize. I need to do this. But if
Yeah.
you have somebody's money, if there are investors at your back,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it just looks like you are trying to go by the books. You're trying to make sure you are doing this or doing that and all of that. So I don't regret bootstrapping this far, even though I know I am ready right now to go out there and source for the funding. But bootstrapping, for me, I think it was a good way to start, validate my idea, get some growth. At
Mm-hmm.
least when I'm going out now to ask for funding, I have the numbers, I have what to tell the investors. I have a footprint. Do you understand? There is a footprint at the moment that shows for some years this is what I've done, I've achieved this, and it's working. So when I'm raising funding now, I won't be raising it with fear or I have 12 months wrong way, I have 24 months wrong way. If I don't do this, if I no, I can go
Great.
out now and confidently seek for funding.
Great. I think for me this is what I used to tell startups generally. I used to tell my community, I used to say in funding, first option should not be loan. Friends and family should be the first options. No, first option should be your personal funding, then move to bootstrapping from friends and family. Then stick on bootstrapping, then move into grants. Then at this stage you could have validate enough, like enough evidence to prove that this concept is worth investing, and then you invest. Then you open up to investment like angel investors, equity, and the rest. And I think you've done that. You've been able to bootstrap your way for the past 3 years. That's amazing. And I think moving on, I look forward to see to hear more of your stories, see how you responding for through agent investors or equity. I believe at the point you're right to go. We are good to go on that note. Yeah,
Sure.
you've proven the concepts. Yeah, and particularly because I'm a Nigerian. I'm excited. I'm part of the work you guys have done so far. I'm
Thank you
super
so much.
excited. The work you guys have done so far. But as we begin to wrap up tonight, just want to ask, what your last thought for us? What your advice for uh, for other agritech startups listening to us, specifically
Okay.
for agtech?
Can you
Yeah.
give me just 1 second? Let me check if the light is up. Just 1 second. So
Okay.
1 second.
All right, guys. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. It's been an amazing time. I've personally learned so much. These guys have been able to bootstrap for 2 years, and I tell you, I like the fact she made sure that she should bootstrap our way through, and that forced her to think. That make her to really think and come up with concept on how do I bootstrap. I mean, bootstrapping is not easy. Bootstrapping is not really easy. Um, I feel bootstrapping for business is a skills that people should, learn, especially as startups. So, okay, our guest is back. But before we move on, if you've not subscribed, do it to subscribe. All right, thank you for joining us again. Okay,
Yep.
All right. So share with us your last thoughts.
Okay.
Yes.
So, for everyone watching, I'm just going to summarize what I've said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
One take home for anybody
Yes.
that wants to build a business from the scratch.
Yes.
I said something earlier. What you have on paper is not what you find, what happens in real
True.
life. So,
True.
before
True.
you raise, or there are people that start raising funding from the idea stage, and by the
Yeah.
time they get into the market, you see a lot of businesses shut down. You see a lot of them fold up and all of that. That's because they've not validated this idea. They've not even tried it. They've not even gotten their first subscriber or anything, and they just jump into the market. So, before you start that business, before you venture into that idea, like grow it, find a way to validate it. It could be something as little as a landing page where you
Mm-hmm.
talk about what you want to start. It could be something as little as doing a survey on Twitter, put up a poll on Twitter discussing this business and seeing people's reactions and all
Ah.
of that. But still, reactions online, trust me, ask every business owner. You can take Instagram for an instance. You go to a page where somebody's promoting a business or selling something. You see 1,000 likes. You see 5,000 likes. One day, just write that person. Find out. Seeing 5,000 likes and shares does not mean that person has sold. By the time you speak one on one with them and sit down to discuss that business with them, you find out that out of the 5,000 likes, out of the 10,000 comments, maybe two or three people have paid for that service. So don't look at the glamour. Don't look at the buzz around. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing. Make sure you talk to real life people that have done something in that sector or that are doing things in that sector. Ask them about their journey. Look at their customer base, genuine customer base, because people these days they mask and hide behind a lot of things going on online, and they are telling you they are doing this, they are doing that. Make sure you do your due diligence before you start. So that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Your story has really been inspiring. I love your energy. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are grateful. Myself and my team and my entire audience. We are grateful for having you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And I believe you guys have been really inspired by Linda's story on how they were able to build a business through bootstrapping for 2 years. And today, the company now have over 200 subscribers on their platform. And that's amazing. Thank you for coming on. Guys, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I want to appeal to you guys once again. Please do it to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have big, big, big plans for you guys. And don't forget to drop your comments, drop like the videos, drop your comments, and drop your questions. We'll do it to, you know, relate with you. We'll do it to respond to your questions in the comment sections. And don't forget to hit the notification button. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. See you again. Same time, same station, same time, same station. We'll be here again with another guest. Thank you all for joining us once again. Thank you very much. So on this note, we call it a good night all. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Kenneth, for
Thank you.
having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.